Hey there everyone, your friend Alchemist87TV here, coming at you with a new video. So this is going to be something a little different than we normally do. We're going to actually be doing a tutorial for streamers on how to make Twitch panels. If you don't know, Twitch panels are those little images that people put underneath in their bio and stuff to say about me and just stuff like that. So it's something very easy to make that a lot of people probably pay for. And I just want to make a video that people can follow along and do it themselves, because I really enjoy doing it myself, and I feel like a lot of other people will too. It does require Photoshop, but you can do a free trial of Photoshop for 7 days and then just cancel it when you're done making stuff. So you don't have to pay for Photoshop to do this. You can do it for free and then cancel it. You don't have to keep a subscription or anything, but it does require Photoshop. But all the skills I taught myself, so it's not going to be anything crazy that's hard to figure out or anything like that. So let's get started. First I'm going to show you. So this is my Twitch page. And you can see these are the panels right here. The ones up top are the ones that I currently use right now, while this one a little down here, a little bit about me, is the new one I made. So this is the one I'm going to actually be doing for the video. And if you guys do want something like this in the future, feel free to comment about it. Just tell me what you want and I'll do a video about it. This is just a little bit more, you have to do the icons and stuff, so it's a little hard for people, but this one uses your logo, so you just need your logo, and that's about it. I also like this one to do it for a video for, is because it will make every single person that follows along with the video, they will have a different one because their logo will be in it. So you won't have the same one as a bunch of other streamers, because yours will be different with the colors and the logo. So let's get started here. And then one more thing is the font I use is Russo 1, and I got it from this website. You don't have to get it from this website. You can just look it up. It's a free font. It just looks pretty good with gaming. So first off, you want to open up Photoshop, or download Photoshop, which you can do from their website. And then you want to open it. And then you go over here and click Create New. And that brings up this window. So in this window, it's just like it's going to tell you how many pixels you want, and it goes width and then height. So a Twitch panel width is 320 pixels, and then the height can be anywhere from, like, I usually use 100 because it makes it a little more thin. Sometimes I recommend 120, but it doesn't really matter as long as you have the width down, and the height, you don't really want it to be too big because then it'll just be gigantic. But you can put like regular pictures in there too, so they want you to have the option for height. So I already have one kind of like custom right here. You're going to want to so you want to come over here and you go to width and make it 320 pixels, height 100 pixels, and then I do 400 resolution. You don't really need 400 resolution, I just use it because it just makes it cleaner. And then you don't have to mess with anything else, you just hit create. And that's going to bring up this screen, which is this is the area you have to work in. It just has a black background. I usually get rid of that. And you just come over here and click the little eye icon. You need to add another layer first, and then you can get rid of it. I usually like the blocks because it's just easier to see where I'm actually working. And then one command or hotkey that is kind of useful is Control and then plus or minus. So that's going to be your zoom function, and that's how I'm going to be zooming in this video. You just hit Control plus and it goes in, Control minus and it zooms out. Pretty easy function. If you forget, just come back to the beginning of the video, and I'll go over some more. And then if you want to, say there's something on this page and you want to select it, Control T does that. And I couldn't do it because there's nothing on here. And then if you want to deselect something, Control D does that. That should be about all of that should be the only hotkeys and commands that I actually use in this video. So it shouldn't be too difficult. If I use another one, I'll make sure I call it out. So first off, we're going to want to get the base of our panel. So you want to come up here to the rectangular marquee tool. What this tool basically does is it just draws rectangles. So we're going to make it a little more thin than the one we had on our Twitch page was. I didn't really like how thick it was, or the height. Going to make the height a little less. And I usually like to add a little bit on the edges too, just so I can work with it. So we have about 2.5 at the top done. So let's do the same around here. So it's already cut off a half, so we'll do about right here. It should be 2.5. And it's telling me it's centered, so around with that. And now that's a perfect rectangle right in the middle right there, because you can see the line in the middle is telling you that you're centered in the middle, and then the line that's going horizontal is telling you that you're centered horizontally. So next we want to right click on our mouse, and it brings up all these features like select inverse, which we'll use at some point, deselect, stuff like that, which I mean that's the command that I told you with Control D. It does the same thing. For this, we're going to go down to fill, click fill, and then it's the contents. Sometimes it is content aware. You don't want that. You want to come up here to foreground or background color, and this chooses from the two colors over here on the left. So mine's purple and white. We'll just do the purple. It doesn't really matter because this color we're going to cover up anyways. So we'll go with foreground color, which is going to be the first one, and that creates us a purple rectangle. Pretty simple. And then the first thing we're going to do is actually cut off our corners. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit to do this. Oh, stop it. There we go. Then I'm going to come over here, and we're going to do about 3 down. So 3 of these squares down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let's do 4. We'll do 4 right at the bottom. And then you just click once. Hold shift. So holding shift makes it do a straight line or a 45-degree angle. We're going to want to use the 45-degree angle for this. It doesn't really matter if you're inside of the shape. It doesn't matter at all. You just need to click outside of it to make a nice big shape for yourself. And then you have to connect it back to itself. So I created a triangle. We're actually going to fill this. So right click it, click fill, go to, let's do background color so that it contrasts against the rectangle we already made, and then just click OK. And now that we have that, we're going to, oh, we messed up. So what I just did is I created that shape on the same layer that I'm already using. You don't want to do that. So let's try to, let me see if it'll, let me select this. So we got it, let us select it. So we're actually gonna have to delete this. So another hotkey that I use is Control Z, which just undoes whatever you just did. And it just brought us back to when we created the rectangle. So we actually want to create a new layer, which is what I forgot to do. And then you want to come here, use the same tool, which is the polygon lasso tool. And if you want these extra ones to pop up, just right click up here and it gives you all the options. I want to select that one. And then we were doing 1, 2, 3, 4 squares down. Click once, left click, hold shift, go outside of this rectangle, and then just create like a little triangle. And then that made that, and then we want to fill it. And we have that done. We're also going to, so we're going to hit Control D to deselect, come up here and click the magic wand tool, which is the bottom one here. And that will basically just select our shape for us. Makes it pretty easy. You want to right click, select inverse, and then you want to come down here and click on our layer 1, because that'll make the command we're about to do go on the layer 1. And then you want to come over here to where your layers are, and you see this little rectangle with a circle in the middle. That is the mask tool. We're going to want to mask that corner. Okay, with that layer mask, we'll move this out of the way so you can see the layer mask. So you see that that just cut off the corner. That's really all that does. And then you want to come down here, right click on the layer. On this little thing next to the layer, that's a layer mask that it applied. Right click on that, and then apply layer mask. So that basically just saves the layer mask that we already did. I'm going to click back on this, Control T it, flip horizontally, and then we come over here to our other corner. Zoom out a little bit. Bring it all the way over here. And we're going to do this for each corner. So you just want to line it up again. And then we go back over here, select the magic wand tool, select it, right click, select inverse, and then come down here, click layer 1 again. So that we select the rectangle and then layer mask. So I'm basically just going to do this for every corner. Okay, so one thing you want to make sure is that you kind of cut off the same amount. So while I was doing that, I noticed that I was cutting off a little more on these bottom corners than I was the top. So I went back and redid it. So all I did for that was hit Control Z and go back and redo it. And then one thing you might also see is that I didn't talk about the flip vertically. So when we're moving from the top to the bottom, we want to flip it vertically. So just right click, flip vertical. And that makes it better for the bottom. And then you flip horizontally again when you go to the other side. So we're actually done with the shape now. So we're going to delete it. You can just come over here and delete layer. It'll give you that prompt. You just want to say yes. Make sure you're on the right layer though. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to add is a few different layer styles to this. So to open this page, I just came over to layer 1 and then double clicked it, and it brings up all these layer styles. So a few things that I like to do just to make it really seem like a 3D object is I add a bevel, I make it satin, and then we're going to add a color overlay to get the right color we want. And then I also add a drop shadow. So first let's go over to the bevel. So this kind of just adds an outer line, just kind of making it look 3D. And for that, my settings are, the depth is 95%, size 0, soften 0. And I'll leave this up here for a second so you can see all of the settings to make sure they match mine. Go ahead and pause if you need to. Okay, so now we'll go down to satin. I just think that satin really just softens up the color to me. If you don't like that, you can totally change it. These are the settings I have for satin though. And I'll leave it up for a few seconds so that you can see them. Try to match it up. And now we're going to go down to color overlay. And that's just the color that I have in here right now, but you'll see later that we're going to want to choose something kind of close to our logo. So for right now, just choose anything, and then we'll kind of adjust it later. And then I also do like to do like a drop shadow, which adds a little bit of depth on this side, just in this corner to make it kind of like go around. And it's a very light drop shadow though, opacity, and then 0 on everything else. I like to do that on my text too, just to make it kind of pop. And that's all we're going to do for this right now. So you just click OK to save those changes, and you can see all the layer effects down here. So next we're going to add in our logo. So you're going to want to come up to File, click Open, and this is going to bring up your desktop. And then you just want to find the place you saved it. And you're going to want to use like a transparent logo, so without a background. So it doesn't matter if it's a PNG file or anything. This one's actually PNG. But it works for our purposes. So you're going to want to come down here, click on the layer, Control C it, come back to this, and then Control V. So it's in there. You can't see it right now because of how big it is compared to the Twitch panel. So we're going to want to hit Control T. To go over those hotkeys I use though, Control C, copy something, Control V, paste something, which is why I use those. And then you kind of want to, we're going to probably want to zoom out because it's probably really big. So you can see how big this is compared to our panel. And that's just because the logo is like meant to be much bigger than what a Twitch panel is. Then you zoom in, and you can kind of see that it's a little grainy. That's just because we scaled it down a little bit. Actually, let's do something. So one thing you want to do is convert it to a smart object before you scale it down at all. This will make it so that it scales down properly, and you can scale it back up. If you don't convert it to a smart object and you scale it down, it won't scale back up correctly. Which I'll probably go over again if I do a video on sub badges or anything like that. If you guys want videos on sub badges or bit badges, I can do that too. So just say in the comments what you want and we'll get to it. So we have it scaled down properly. And then for my logo, I usually like to add the same kind of things because I think it just makes it kind of pop more. So like I'm going to add the bevel. See how I just kind of add some texture to it that wasn't there before? I just like that. You might not, but... And then we want to add the satin, the drop shadow, and that's everything we're going to want to add on this. We don't want to add a cover overlay like we done the other one because that's just going to get rid of all our colors. But everything, all the settings are the same as the other one. I'm not going to use any other settings, so you don't have to worry about doing it multiple times because it saves it across from the last time you did it. We're going to go to blending options and then turn the opacity down. because you want it to just kind of blend in with the background. So we got that kind of, that's probably a good place for it right there. Let me see what we had that at actually. So we put ours down to like 44, but you can play with it and see how much you really want it to show. We might even turn it down here in a second. We'll see. And then you want to Control T it and turn it like however you want. I kind of like it turned like this. Just adds kind of like a little more to it. And then I kind of like it going off of the panel a little bit. I just like the way that looks, just kind of overlaid a little bit and then hanging off of it. Then you can click off that. Now we're going to want to get rid of the parts that hang over, which your logo might not have this, but if it does, you want to do this step. So you want to click on layer 1, which selects the rectangle again. And then you want to go back to, I already have it selected, but you want to select the magic wand tool again. Click the rectangle. And then you're going to want to click on layer 2 and then mask it. So that layer mask got rid of the stuff on the outside, which I'll show you. And we'll Control Z that real fast so you can see it without the layer mask. So you see how it kind of hangs off there. And then let's go forward. And if you like want to go back, oh, we can't redo it. That's fine. So we have it selected still, so we just have to go over here and click layer mask again. And it gets rid of those on the edges. So it just makes it look more clean, because if you put that on Twitch, it's going to be able to be seen. Whereas with our no background, you can't really see it. So that's one nice thing about having the black background is you can see those things that hang over. Which it doesn't really bother me at the moment, but... So we're going to want to get a color that's pretty close to our logo. I'm going to actually do a little darker for this. That's just personal preference. I think it looks cool. So we're going to click back into our layer options for layer 1, which is just double clicking again. And then you go to color overlay. Click this and kind of just play with it until you like it. And when you let go, it'll do it. So it'll do the change. I kind of like it like right there. I just think my logo looks good against the background a little bit. We're going to actually go back to this. Let's delete this layer mask for a second because I'm actually going to change it up a little bit. I don't really like how... I think I want it to be bigger. I want it to be more like in the background than it is. So we're just going to come here and go like this. So this will just cut off more. But it'll also give us more like in the background of our image. And then you just want to Control D that, deselect it. Or click off of it, also works. There's a weird line here showing up. Just click on this layer. Get our eraser tool to fix that. You can go up here. So eraser tool just like gets rid of colors. You want to make sure you're on the right layer though. And we'll just make the size bigger. So we have to rasterize this, which is just another option that you can do. And then we're just going to erase this line. Much better. I didn't like how it was kind of like making it lighter there. But your logo probably won't have that. That was just the way mine was. It kind of like had a color on the outside of the actual image. And then we're going to want to get rid of that again, or get rid of the outside with a mask. So we click this, select the box, and then we click back on our logo image and click mask. So I got rid of the outside, as you can see. Then we want to click here, apply mask. And our logo is pretty set for now. I like how it looks so far. So now we're going to want to add words to it. So like I said, I use a Russo font, which is a Google font. It's free. Okay, so next we're going to want to add our letters or words. So you want to come over here to the text thing, or the text tool, and click horizontal type tool. That just makes it horizontal. You can also do vertical, but we're not going to get into those for now. So you just want to click, pretty much, and that'll bring up... The Russo size is pretty big, so it'll be a lot bigger. What I do for this, I just backspace, because it automatically puts a few words in there, and then I just type hi or something, and then click off of it. Click back on it, hit Control T to select it. Ready to go up, drag it down a little bit, and then you just kind of resize it however you want. And the color doesn't really matter right now. We're gonna add a color overlay to it. And then we're gonna make this one our about me thing, or about me panel. So just type in about me, Control T, click off it, click back on it, Control T. I accidentally typed some extra stuff in there. So if you want to edit it, you just click back on the text tool and click back on the word. And then type it however you want, uppercase, lowercase. Actually, let's go uppercase for this. Click back off of it, click back on, Control T to select it. And then this is where you really want to size it and put it kind of like in the, I like mine being in the middle, but down a little bit. So we're going to want to add some of the same layer styles that we did to the other ones. I think our layer styles actually came off our logo. So let's add those really fast with satin, bevel, drop shadow. That's all we want on that. Then we want to click back on the about me. Then we're going to add the same ones, bevel, satin, drop shadow. And those just kind of all make it pop. As you can see, like it's very, like if you don't have these, the words are just very bland. But if you add them, it makes it very more like gamey, professional. So even then we're going to actually want to add a color overlay on this. And then for this one, I used a dark grayish, or kind of like a light grayish, just because I think it looks good. Actually, we're going to go a little lighter than that. Let's go almost white. A little more. There we go. Because you really want this part of it to pop. I think that's placed pretty well. Okay, so we're going to want to, let's just copy this. So we're going to duplicate this layer. Right click on the layer, duplicate layer. That doesn't really matter. It's going to change when you change the font. Control T it, put it above it a little bit. Click back on the text. Then we're going to edit it. And then you can put really whatever you want here. I'm just going to put a little bit. So it's like a little bit about me. Click back off of it, click back on, Control T. And we're going to want this one to be sized a little bit smaller than what we already have. Then we're going to want to center it. And for this one, we're going to also want to change the color to a little bit closer to our background color. You can kind of just play with it till you get what you like. I like that little lighter, so we'll keep it like that. And now that I have the words on here, I think I'm actually going to make my logo a little bit more opaque. So it's come up here. It actually reset, so that's why it didn't look opaque at all. So you want to kind of have it where the edges kind of keep their like fine lines, but you don't want it to, so like down here it kind of like really disappears. But if you, it's kind of more about preference. Like that actually doesn't really look that bad. It's a little bit more opaque than my last one. I'm gonna put it up just a tiny bit. It's like right there, where it kind of just blends the colors in and makes them all look the same. So we pretty much have the basic premise of it down. You could use this on your Twitch page and it would be fine. I'm gonna put we're gonna add one more thing just to give it a little bit more professional look and make it just so it's not just like a plain box with corners cut off. So we're gonna zoom in for this part. We actually are going to want to, we're gonna actually throw all this in a folder just to make it a little easier on ourselves. So select multiple, you just click one and then hold shift. And then you click the next one, click the next one, click the next one. And then you just come down here and click this folder icon, and it just creates a group with them. We're going to add another logo. We're going to add another layer. And on this layer, we're going to go to a corner. Zoom in a bit. Come back up here to our polygon tool. And we're just going to make the corners have color on it. So you're going to want to select the angle that you want. Come down about 3 blocks, 3 pixels, and then you're going to go back at an angle And you see how it's the same angle, so it's going to connect in the right place. And then go back. This one you actually want to be inside. So that's actually kind of small. I think I'm going to make it a little bigger since it only actually picked 2 pixels. So let's actually put it like 5 out. Come across. Go down the angle. 5 out again. Come across. So we're actually a little short. So you're going to want to just come down here again and add a little bit of length to it. It's pretty easy. And then go back. So it's not wanting to connect, which can happen sometimes. And all you have to do for that is hit backspace, and that'll reset the line. So you just want to hit it as many times as you need to get to the right point. So now we have it selected. We're going to right click, fill. This time we're going to want to do our background color, which is white, so it stands out against the rectangle. Click OK. And then let's click off of that. Zoom out. Just kind of see how it looks. So it just kind of makes the corners stand out a little more. We're going to want to add our layers, our layer styles to it though. So we're going to put bevel, satin, drop shadow. Then we're going to add a color overlay. And I'm going to make these kind of grayish. Like light grayish. Kind of like our word text. A little dark. We'll actually go a little lighter than that. Which actually, let's make it the same color as our text. So to do that, you just click on this little box here. And it brings out this dropper tool. And you just come over to the text and click. And that gives me the exact color that our text is. Which we're actually pretty close, but just to be exact, sometimes it's nice. And just click OK to save those. And then you can click off of it, click back on. And we're going to duplicate this layer. The naming doesn't really matter unless you like really want to keep it organized. Which it shouldn't really. We're only going to need 4 of them. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And for this, we're going to kind of do the same thing that we did on the corners. We're going to flip it horizontally and copy it and stuff and do the same kind of thing. So we have the copy here. Let's Control T it. And if we drag it down, you can see there's 2 now. And then we're going to want to flip horizontally. And then we're going to want to zoom out and bring it over here. And you can tell it's lined up because of the 3 lines. It's showing you it's lined in the center, the top of it, and the bottom. I'm going to go over here though. I want to make sure it's lined. And then we can zoom in a little bit because I want to make sure that it is lined up with this edge over here too. Which it is, because you can see that little pink line there. It's telling me that it's in line with the sides of the panel too, which is what I want. So now that we have that, we're going to copy it again. Or duplicate it again. And then Control T it. Flip vertically. And drag it down here. Line it up where the pink lines show you that you're in line with the bottom of the panel, and then the 3 lines show you that you're in line with the other triangle or corner piece that we're adding. And then we're going to want to duplicate that again. Name doesn't matter. Control T it to select it. Flip horizontally. And then we're going to want to go to the other side and zoom out so it's easier to drag. And then click off of it. Let's Control D it just to deselect. And let's zoom out and see how it looks. So I really like it right now. A lot of things you can change on this though. You can make your logo pop out even more. You can change the colors. You're going to want to change the colors to where it's closer to your logo, not the purple that I have. But my logo is purple, so I want to keep it. So what you're wanting to do with this is stay in line with your branding. Twitch is all about having a personal brand. My personal brand's colors are like purple, but yours might be blue. So you want to keep with those like colors and just keep everything in line with each other. I think this is done for now. A lot of the things I did though, you can take and really just add more to it if you want. Like you can add more shapes to make it look more like the ones I had earlier. And just kind of make it your own. A lot of the skills that I showed you in this video are transferable to making your own style. But when you save this, you're going to want to save it as 2 different things. You're going to hit File, Save As. I'm just going to throw them on my desktop for now. And the first one you want to save it as is a PSD. This is so you can edit it and make it as the different ones you want. So you can add like a FAQ one, or follow my YouTube, or subscribe to my YouTube, or follow my Twitter, or follow me on Instagram. So you can change it up to do all your panels. All you really have to do is change the text to, which is why I like this one. You don't have to get the images like my other ones that I have, because those can be a pain sometimes. So you just want to name it, I'm just going to name it YouTube video panel, but name whatever you want. But make sure you just save it in a place where you know it will be. And then you're going to want to also save it as a PNG. So save as, the name's fine because it's going to not mess with my PSD file because it's going to be PNG. I make all my Twitch stuff PNGs because it's one of the things acceptable by Twitch, and I like PNGs. Then we just save it, or just file size. It won't really matter because it's going to be small enough to be able to be on Twitch anyways. So I'm going to show you actually how to set this up. So we're going to pull my Twitch back up, and we're going to go to Edit Panels. You slide that, and then you come down. We can edit. We're going to remove this one so I can just show you the whole process. You click this little plus button here, and then you add text or image panel, and then you just click Add Image. And it's this one. So you open it, you click it and open it, and then you can kind of like adjust the way, but like we made it to where it will fit no matter what. So just click Done, then click Submit. So it should be submitted. If we click out of the editing, it's there. So it's a little bit darker on my other one, and I faded my logo a little bit different. That's the nice thing about it, is you can really just customize it to your preference. So if I wanted my logo to be there a little more, I can just make the opacity like less, so make it less opaque and make sure the other colors come through a little more. You also want to make sure that your letters are on top so that the logo doesn't really interfere with it and doesn't look like it has a weird texture on it. But this looks a little different than my other ones. If you guys want me to make ones like these or show you a video on ones like these, I can definitely do that. Just comment and tell me what to do. Tell me what you want me to do. That's it though for today's video though. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you like the video, make sure you like it so I know you guys want more of this. Comment if you would like me to do anything specific for Twitch for you guys to do. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone.